Hey, it's pitabread189. We fired up 425 zoom tables to get into Jarrett Mann's video. And I'm going to try to make a better video than him, but I know I'm going to fail. That's alright. We also have the Zodiac main event where we're 13 players away from the money and a $200 monster stack. I'm mostly going to be talking about the cash tables though. Table 3, we open the button and flop trips. On the paired board, I think we just almost always go for a small bet. And I'm just going to call the raise. That's a third of the pot on the turn, and I'm going to call again. We're not in the greatest spot on the river. I actually think it's fairly close. On table 2, we open the small blind. I think on queen 8-2, we get some checks. Once we check, we're calling. And I'm pretty much just going to check call down if he keeps betting. Going for a 4 bet on table 3. Once he checks the turn, I think we get to go for a lot of big bets. I'm not sure if my hand is strong enough to do it with, but I am definitely going to get called by some tens. Going to go for a small size on table 3. Now I'm going to try to check it down, I guess. Table 4, we got the suited hand facing a 3x open from the small blind. Now we have second pair and flush draw. I think we're always calling and never raising. I think on the turn, once he checks, we get to go for a big bet a lot. I'm guessing we're going for a big bet more with the higher flushes and less with the lower ones. think we get some checks here. On table 1, we're calling the 3-bet with pocket nines. We're going to check and call once. On table 3, we 3-bet from the big blind, and we flop bottom set on a board where we're just always betting small. Table 2, opening king 8 from the small blind, and we get a flop where we're almost always betting. I think we have a decent hand to check some of the time though. We have like our best high card hand, and we have no backdoor flush draw of any kind. Table 1, we're stacking off with kings. We cold 4-bet and got shoved on. On table 3, we 3-bet king queen off. On table 2, we flatted a 3-bet from cutoff versus small blind. I don't think we call this big bet. I might be wrong. I'm actually not sure what to do. I think it's more likely that folding is a mistake than calling, so I'm going to call. Now we get a pretty good turn for us. I think we have to call again. Like our ace queen turns into a call, and some of our pocket pairs turn into folds. Compared to like if the turn was a low card. On this tournament table, we're 2 from the money, and normally 6s would just be a shove, but I think we just invest our 1 big blind, and if we don't see a set, we just fold. 2 away from the money, now 1 away from the money. This one I'm going to have to see if we make the money or not. This guy just yeeted in his 50 big blind stack. So pretty much here, um, I'm hoping that someone under me busts, but we have like the same stack as this guy. So we get a lot of folds and our hand is really strong. So I think we just have to go with it. And I'm sure now he's looking at the lobby and see if someone busted, if he has a hand that's close to call. And someone did bust under us. Two people busted under us, so we were safe. Going to go for a 3-bet with the 9s on table 3. On table 2, we open the small blind, and I think if we had ace 4 without the club, we would be checking it back, or we would be checking it a decent amount of the time. But with the club, we're almost always betting. On table 2, I called the big blind against the button open. And I have a decent hand to do a bit of raising, but I think it's going to be pretty rare. Now I just have to fold my bottom pair to the pot and a half bet. Might be able to go for value here with my 8. Don't think it's ever worth a big bet, but I can make a small bet. And, oh no, better not time out with my pocket kings. Did time out on the other table to throw poop at Jarrett. You know, I miss going to the casino and throwing poop at him in real life, so now I only get to do it online. Like, I actually have no idea what to do on table 3, but I imagine I'm always shoving kings and mostly calling aces, and also shoving ace, king, and queens. And then lower hands I get to call, like suited broadways and lower pocket pairs. So we called blind versus blind with queen 9 against nuts random on table 4. And I think on the low flops we get to go for big size a lot. And we also have like the perfect hand for it. So on table 2 we have a very similar spot to what I was just talking about on the other table, where we just get to make a lot of big bets. I don't know if queen jack is a call for 8 bigs. I think on table 2 we get to make a lot of bets with hands that don't have diamonds, but if we have diamonds we don't bet that often. I don't know how relevant the blocker is, but it does matter. The 3 might also be a bad blocker, but I'm not sure. Like the hands we're trying to block are not straights. They're more pairs. We're going to 3-bet the ace queen suited and also the ace queen off on table 1. I think we get to go for some big bets. When the turn is a queen, I don't think we want to shove. If it was a low card, I think we'd do some shoving with our hand and some small betting. But when the queen pairs, I think we just bet small. Pretty unfortunate result for us. He has a set. On table 2, we defended the big blind with pocket 3s. Looks like we're out of this. Gonna mix in a nice little raise with the 6-2 offsuit versus a small blind limp. All right, we got Jack 10. We're gonna use our nice randomizer here. This would be a better joke if I use the 100 as the randomizer. No, I folded an ace on the button. If my battery was fully charged. I was going to use the 100 as a randomizer, but 87 is good enough to raise. Quite hard playing 4 tables of Zoom and also trying to tell bad jokes. The 10 is a decent card for us to check and call now. You no longer need to make ace king and ace queen fold as much. I think we just check again and maybe call depending on how big a bet is. This guy has 30 bigs. I think the eights is fairly close, even if he was deep, and now when he's 30 bigs, it just makes it a fold. I think this bet is big enough for us to fold. On table 2, I wonder if this is the same guy who shoved 50 bigs before. We got aces, we got 3-bet, and we're going to 4-bet most of the time and flat sometimes, I think. Mostly 4-betting. And on table 1, 3-bet queen jack, blind versus blind. We have a decent hand to check, but I think we want to be betting small a lot of the time. Table 4, we 3-bet ace-2 suited from the big blind against the button. Now on table 1, I think with our 2 pair, we can still bet. I see us getting called by ace-x, some diamonds. Especially if he has like the king of diamonds. A lot of those have pairs that go along with them. On the river, I think we just have to check back. Going to go big for value on table 2. I really hope the flop went check check and I just did a dunk. On table 4, I think we have a mix between calling and 4-betting. And now I'm going to go for a raise. On table 1, we open early position, get called by the button. Going to keep going for it. I think we get to 3-bet this king 8 at a decent frequency. I don't know what we get to call against the min raise. I feel like the queen 4 is in there, but there's a bunch of rake. Should be fairly close. I think mixed between bet and check now. I think this eights is a mix between call and 3-bet too. And again on the suited board, I think he has all the higher flushes. It's a mix again. I don't think we have a raise. I think we put in the 150 bigs with kings on table 4. It's kind of unfortunate, but calling sucks and 4-betting to a smaller size sucks. Running into aces is also not nice. On table 2, we called the big blind against an open and a call. And we're in a spot where the button gets to bet a lot, but he always kind of has a strong hand. So I don't know if my hand was actually good enough to raise or not, but it does have like a decent amount of equity. Um, on table 4, we raised, um, we called pre-flop, raised the flop. Bet big on the turn, and he can never have any straights. I think once we check the flop, we're also mostly checking the turn. Table 2, I'm just going to go for the min bet. No, I think my hand is not weak enough to bet. On table 1, I think we do a lot of checking back. I think we do a lot of checking back on the turn too. And on the river, we probably always have to bet an ace. Not sure though. On table 4, there was a limp, and we raised and got called. We checked the flop, and now we're betting big on the turn. We're pretty much always ahead. If he had a set on the flop, he's betting. You can't really have a straight. On table 1, we 3-bet, and now we're just probably going to go for stacks on any river. We still always get called by like some overpairs. He doesn't have that much that beats us. On table 4, we're going to call. Just rips in 4x the pot. It's possible that's a good bet by him. There are definitely flops where you want to shove some hands for a really huge size. And that low connected board kind of looks like one of them. On table 3, we opened small blind and we're check calling. Going to check call again. Check called the turn, and I was going to say river was probably going to be close if he bet. On table 4, we opened, bet half pot, got raised and called, and we hit a very good turn. I'm not sure about my sizing, but I think we just go small. It doesn't really make sense to go big when he raised on the flop, so he's going to be polarized. On table 4, we got jacks. We opened, the big blind called. I think I would be betting smaller normally, but I don't know this player, so I decided to go big. Not that I play in these games a lot, but I assume someone whose name I haven't noticed even within this session might be just playing one table. Going for the 3-bet with kings on table 2. Not really being exact with my 3-bet sizing, just scrolling the wheel up to somewhere close to 3x when I'm in position and somewhere close to 4x when I'm out of position. On table 3, we call with 9s, open button, small blind 3-bet, we call. I think it's a very small frequency 4-bet. And we're going to call again on the flop. Table 4, we're going to 3-bet. Now we're just going to check back most of our pairs on table 3 and on table 4. I think we're betting for a small size very, very often. And on table 3, if Dino checks again, then I'm going to bet. This is kind of an unfortunate spot for us where he does have a lot of kings and we kind of just have a mid-strength hand. It is one of the best hands we can have, though. And I think my 9s are neutral blockers. So we called and he did have a bluff. We have pretty much the worst hand we can have. And I think we just go for the bet here. I think because we checked the turn, we don't get to go big now. We just never have the knighted hands, except pocket jacks. Table 2, I'm going to call with the king 9. I have to say it is very nice winning a pot against Jarrett, even if it's for just like $100 or so. Saving loads of money, not losing tens of thousands of dollars to him live. I think we get to call this sometimes and 3-bet sometimes. And I'm just going to go for a big bet. I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing. I think we just have to call the raise. Just gotten myself into a bad spot, I guess. I'm guessing I really just have the 4 outs to a straight. I have 2 more tournaments starting off. So I'm going to close out this cash session. So here we opened Pocket Kings. That last hand I was talking about. I opened with Pocket Kings and yes, always going for a small bet. Thanks for watching, guys.